how do you make a decision knowing lives will be put in harm's way? So how do you make a decision knowing that lives will be put in harm's way? So this is a really good question. Of course, as a professional, technical and tactical application to a decision has a lot to do with training. So when we train as realistic as we possibly can, we put ourselves into situations that may not be optimal. And every now and again during training, it's okay to fail. We're going to learn a lot from those failures. If we set up training iterations and training evolutions to always succeed, I would argue that we are, we are not pushing the envelope as well as we could, and we're also leaving our members at a bit of a disservice. So when we train, it's okay to fail. When we train, it should be difficult. There should be hiccups, and there should be something to learn from it, because the reality is on operations, on deployment, when the job is required to, make a finite, quick decision where, somebody's life could be taken, or a missed shot could be the difference between, the evil guy catching that bullet or an innocent bystander. There is a lot at stake. There are a lot of consequences that will go through an operator or an assaulter's head in a split second. And how do we bridge the gap between decision and action? I truly believe it has a lot to do with the level of training. So, how do I make a decision knowing that lives will be put in harm's way? I make a decision with a foundational belief knowing that it's the right thing to do, given the consequences, considering the circumstance and the situation of that particular incident. Is it difficult to make a wise decision? I don't think it is. I think there are some people who have it inherently. They have the ability to make a wise decision based on the information that they have. And I do believe that some people who may be more analytical as a thinker, they will balk, and they will either A, make a poor decision, or B, make no decision at all. So that's my opinion on decision making. In the past, have I been in situations that, had consequences that were negative? Yes. Have I had situations where decisions were made and the outcome was more optimal? Of course. Based on, years of experience and based on operational experience, I can look back and say, I would have liked to have done that a little bit differently, or, I probably would have done something a little bit more modified in one capacity or another, but pretty happy with the decision made. When it comes to training and connecting it to operational readiness and effectiveness, every time we do a CQB run, for example, in training, and the question is posed, how did it go? What would you do differently? What did you learn from it? If that assaulter or operator or police officer, that professional in the profession of arms, if they are to say, nothing, I would do nothing differently, I would question that. There is always areas to improve. There are always certain things that we can polish, make a little bit more efficient, a little bit smoother, a little bit faster. There is elements of improvement that we can always strive to achieve. So I would say be critical with ourselves when we're training, be real with ourselves, and set it up in a manner that, every now and again, if we don't make the optimal decision, that's okay. We can learn from it. But every time we do a run, be it CQB or otherwise, and if we pose that question, hey, what would you do differently? If that person says nothing, that was perfect, man, I would do the exact same thing, I would question that. To me, that's a red flag.